We want the profile picture to have a caption, but not always. The component instance on the welcome page must have one, while the other one should remain as is. And we don't want to create two separate components. We can use a nifty Blazor feature called RenderFragment to make that work. It makes it possible to pass content to another component. That content can then be rendered anywhere the receiving component wants. Let me show you. In the profile picture component, we're adding a property of the type RenderFragment named childContent. RenderFragment can contain razor markup, from a simple text to components to component hierarchies if you want. So it enables components to send markup to each other. In this case, it will just contain the caption of the profile picture, set by the component that renders the profile picture. Since it has to be set by another component, another class, the property has to be public. But now here's something important. If properties must have the ability to be set by another component, in addition, we have to decorate the property with the parameter attribute. So the parameter attribute basically says, it's okay that the value of this property is provided by another component. We will explore this some more soon. Now our profile picture component can put the passed in content wherever it wants by just referring to it using the @ sign. Here I'm placing the fragment inside a div that has some bootstrap classes. Interesting enough, this too is data binding. We're binding to the contents of the RenderFragment property in this case. It just happens that the value of that property is set by another component. But how? Let's switch to the component that renders profile picture. It is actually rendered by two different components, but we just want to add a caption for the one in the index page. As you can see, we just pass the caption in between the begin and end tags of profile picture. The only reason that works is that the property in profile picture is named childContent. If you give it another name, this won't work. You can pass it along in other ways, but that's for a next module. I have to keep you engaged, don't I? And when we run now, you can see what I showed you earlier. Now let's add some additional markup, and the result will be what you would expect. In this way you can even render other custom components and component hierarchies inside the contents of a render fragment. Cool, right?